If you wake up early enough tomorrow morning, you could see a sunrise unlike all.
A rare annular eclipse will occur just after dawn tomorrow in the Arctic, North Atlantic and Scotland. Another eclipse of this kind won't occur until 2093. Well, the show starts at sunrise. Unlike a full eclipse, only the centre of the sun will be covered, leaving a ring of light around the moon. This is called an annular eclipse. So let's take a look at where and when you can see the amazing show. Well, the view gets better the further north you go. If you're in London, check out the skies at around 10 minutes to 5 tomorrow morning. About 69% of the sun will be covered. 3/4 of the sun will be covered in Belfast at 4:57 a.m. But the best place to view the eclipse will be in Scotland, where the sun will be almost completely covered. In Edinburgh, you can see the eclipse at 4:37, and people are expected to gather further north at John O'Groats at 4:17 tomorrow morning to see the ring of fire that occurs when the move passes over the sun. Well, skies, RONA DOUGALL is just a few miles away at Dunnet Head, and I imagine there's fingers crossed for the weather tomorrow, RONA.
Absolutely, because hundreds of stargazers have gathered here in the north of Scotland for this annular eclipse. And it's a really rare occurrence. The last one happened in 1923. We won't see another one until 2093. So it's a real once-in-a-lifetime experience. Joining me now to tell us a little bit more about this eclipse is Paul Sutherland from the Society for Popular Astronomy. Paul, just tell us first of all, what's the difference between an annular eclipse and a total eclipse?
Well, an annular eclipse is where the moon is not quite large enough to cover the sun. As it goes around its orbit around the Earth, the orbit's not totally circular. This time it's going to be further from the Earth than it normally is, and it won't quite be large enough to blot out the whole sun. So you'll get a ring of light around it, which should look quite dramatic, we hope, with all the clouds blow away.
And why is the north of Scotland and Shetland and Orkney the best place to see this?
Well, it's because of the alignment of the sun and the moon and the Earth. Is that from further south in the UK, you don't get the annular eclipse, you get a large partial eclipse instead. I mean, anywhere over the UK there will be a dramatic sunrise because the sun is going to rise like a crescent, like a sort of scimitar rising from the ground, or over the sea or whatever, and it's going to be very spectacular. But from the north of Scotland, that's where you'll get this dramatic ring of fire if the clouds stay away.
I mean, how will it compare to the total eclipse in Cornwall? I'm sure you were there.
Yes, I actually went to Alderney for the total eclipse, and well, hopefully it'll compare in that we'll get clear skies, whereas most of Cornwall didn't. I did see it from Alderney. That was spectacular. The whole of the sun was blotted out, and so it went quite dark. You've got the solar chromosphere, the atmosphere around the sun shining, and prominences is visible. We won't get that from here, but we'll get this ring of light, and because of the position here, we hope to get the sun shining through the valleys of the moon around the edge. That'll look quite dramatic, like beads of light. It could be spectacular.
Okay, just very briefly, Paul, people should not look at this with the naked eye, should they?
Certainly not. No, I mean, it's always dangerous to look at the sun. On no account look through anything like binoculars or a telescope. You can use a telescope to allow the sun to travel through, out of the back of it onto a piece of card. That is a safe way to do it, but never look through a telescope unless you're a professional with professional filters. It's just too dangerous. And if you're looking with the naked eye, if you've still got those specs from the total eclipse of 1999, wear those, but otherwise be careful.
Okay, Paul, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Of course, this is all dependent on the weather, so we're keeping our fingers crossed here that the skies will be clear and cloudless tomorrow morning. From Dunnet Head, back to the studio.
RONA DOUGALL, thanks very much for that update. You going to be up for it tomorrow morning then, Jeremy?
Chris, I think, no, I'm going to have a lie, because there's so much sport tomorrow that I'm going to save myself for later in the day.
All right, Chris is getting up though, aren't you?
I might do. Depends on the kids, you know, all that.